Paris-Nice, Benji, much less interesting. 212 kilometers. I think the organizers made a mistake here.
Okay.
I think, and again, I've overestimated how difficult it would be, thinking, well, no, actually, you were with me yesterday. You thought there'd be a decent break on this. I convinced you thought Court would get in there.
I trusted Court, but apparently he doesn't want to. Instead, we've
surprised.
got Gregard for the 75th time in the breakaway in this Paris, and once again taking all the KOM points with his teammate Scarset pacing for him. So exactly the same scenario, and then the break gets called with 80k to go, so the peloton installs, and then we're stuck there waiting and sleeping until we get to an intermediate sprint where action actually happens. But it's some cool action at the intermediate
for why
sprint.
That happened, Benji, and why I think that the organised made a mistake. You have this 213k stage, really, really long. You do have really nice climbs at the start in the first 50k's to form a strong break, but then there's this, from 50k's, there's 100 kilometers of flat with no crosswinds.
Yep.
And then 2 shallow, big green climbs, 3.5k's 5%, 4.6k's 5%, but they're also about 30 kilometers and 40, 60, 50 kilometers from the finish. They either needed to have those climbs a bit closer to the finish, or they needed to have a little bit more climbing in the middle of this stage. Because I think what really happened is someone like Court looked at this and was like, fuck, am I really going to do 100k's of flat in the middle of this stage with maybe, so that's what happened. And it was a bit of a shame because, this was a snoozer, and I think they could have made it a little bit more balanced. We've already had 2 sprints, and I don't like hoping that crosswinds will make the stage exciting. We said that about the famous bridge stage last year. But if you want to get the best valued trainer on the market, the Zwift Hub is $4.99. Go to Zwift.com through the link down below. You can both jump onto Zwift and get a free 7-day trial. But if you don't have the trainer, you can also get the Zwift Hub, which is, getting a lot of praise throughout the industry. The best value direct drive trainer. Gone are the 4-figure days of getting a trainer, $4.99. Jump onto Zwift with the trainer. Easy does it. All right, Benji. The intermediate sprint. Pogacar.
Let's talk about it.
He wasn't happy. Run us through it.
So Pogacar indeed was not happy after today's intermediate sprint, and it goes back to how it started. You've got 2 teams that want something out of this, perhaps 3 teams, if you consider Jumbo-Visma a team that should still fight for this intermediate sprint, considering Vingegaard lost a significant amount of time on the last mountaintop finish. Now, the 2 teams that were fighting, plus Jorgensen from Movistar, were Demar's team with Gaudu and Pogacar. Now, Demar sprinting together with Gaudu. We know that they've had a bit of a troublesome history, as in Gaudu might have discussed a private quarrel with Demar openly in a chat lobby at some point this year, and it's not that great. The relationship
didn't want
there.
Demar to go to the TDF.
Yeah,
Cliff notes.
That's the summary.
Gaudu said, "Why are we sending? You're going to need the whole team to take him around France. He's going to maybe finish outside the time limit. Well, everyone on me, my GC, I came 4th last year, and apparently Demar doesn't get in the lift with Gaudu. That's the Cliff notes of the beef."
Thank you for the Cliff notes of the beef, but this intermediate sprint started, and Pogacar knows that if Demar's right there next to him, with Gaudu on the other side next to him, he knows that Demar is also going to try and sprint and beat him at the intermediate sprint. But Demar opened up relatively early going into this intermediate sprint.
He jumped him.
Yeah, with Jorgensen on the other side of the road, also jumping relatively early. Yep. So 2 riders jumping early. On paper, you'd say, pretty good lead out for Gaudu and for Pogacar, right? But it's a limited road. So there was position maybe on the left side of Jorgensen, and at that point, there's still a gap on the right of Demar, in my personal opinion. And Pogacar says, I'm going to go on the right side of Demar, because if I have to go left, I need to either try and squeeze in between Demar and Jorgensen, or try and go the long way around him.
Because it's a right bend.
Exactly. So Pogacar chooses to go for the gap that at that point exists next to Demar, and when he's going past him, Demar is already closing the door. As in, the question now is, did Demar close the door when Pogacar was next to him or when he was coming up? From the front view, Demar looked back, saw Pogacar coming, and goes to the side, in my opinion.
Yep, and we'll run through, what we saw on screen. And then Pogacar has to stop. There's no space. And he's blocked. Gadu then comes through the left-hand side. Jorgensen had gone too early. And Gadu's able to take the 6 bonus seconds. Demar gently brakes or stops pedaling, and he rolls through for 4 seconds. Pog only takes 2, and we see afterwards Pog, he turns around, he looks at Demar, he definitely says something to him. I don't know if in French, because in Pogacar's mother, she's a French teacher, but he said he doesn't speak French. Maybe he knows a word or two in French. He wasn't happy, that's clear, with Demar. And the question is, as you said, Benji, Demar, he knows what he's doing here. I actually really, I know we are the sprint deviation police. I really don't have much of a problem with what Demar did, because his movement, first of all, it's around a right-hand bend. The gap is very small when Pogacar wants to jump into it. Jumping into a gap on the inside of a right-hand bend when someone's already sprinting and they're not far from the edge of the road is already a risk in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And Demar's movement to me is within the bounds of somebody sprinting, that they have to be allowed some lateral movement, that you can't do anything about it. And it's almost like Pogs just dived into a space that was always going to get closed. And I know Demar knew what he was doing as well. So,
yeah, that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
Demar looks back and sees Pogacar coming and then moves more to the right. And that's the factor for me that changes a lot here. Obviously, intent doesn't matter when it comes to the rules. It says if you go off your lane and endanger someone, there's also a rule that says obstruct, but if we start applying that to most sprints, that would be in real trouble here, would be the obstruction police. But when it comes to endangerment, it's on the brink, eh? I'd say that the only reason that Pogacar wasn't endangered is because he chooses to brake there.
Yeah. To me, I really think the gap was already pretty much closed as he's jumping into it. And I really think there wasn't that much space there, and he knew he was taking a risk. He wants to go the shortest way around. Demar's also pulling off after his lead out, opening up the space for Gadu. We do see lead outs, they have to move off somewhere, I think. And Pogacar's, his mask slips a little bit after the intermediate sprint, like it did after RVV last year, when he had a few words to say to Demar and then Van Baarle last year. But then he goes back to, I think, the interview after the stage. I haven't listened to it yet, but I hope they asked him about it. Maybe Luke can bring that up if he sees that, and we can talk about it in a second. But yeah, I think this is not, to me, in the same realms as Quickstep Baloise Benji.
Yeah, no, not at all. That was next level, trying to block someone with the real danger of crashing them out. While here, that danger is not 100% there. There's a factor that's an uphill sprint. Maybe that does something, lower speed and so forth. In my head, that shouldn't have the biggest influence either. But it does change the factor. I would say that UCI would never do something about this. And
No.
I don't mind necessarily, but it's a cheeky move and a bit sketchy in my book. And the question is, let's say that it would be penalized. Gadu wouldn't get penalized anyway, so it wouldn't matter too much. It would only potentially give 2 more seconds to Pogacar if they scrap Demar from there.
That's the thing. You apply the sanction to Demar, Gadu gets away scot-free. That was the problem with, because Schmidt in Baloise, he didn't really do anything wrong, but it was his Quickstep teammates last year. And so that's the problem with it. I do think the really big thing is Gadu takes 6 seconds or 4 seconds, and he's gone from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. And so Luke said Pogacar put the blame on himself. He said it. He says he should have gone via the other way. He did note that Demar saw him and closed him. So kind of what we were saying. Like, he knew that it was a risk that it might happen. Demar knew what he was doing and what was going to happen. Everyone knew what was going to happen. Pogacar tried his luck, but he also was like, yeah, but he also closed me. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But Gadu's a real threat for GC, I think, Benji. Anyway, we'll continue on with the stage. We've spoken a lot about this because the rest of the stage, there's nothing really to talk about. We come into the sprint finish. We've got Merlier, we've got, is Groenewegen here or in Tirreno? I'm not sure. No, he's not here. I just made that up.
You know, X for Christoph or something? I don't know.
Christoph, Varenskold and Christoph are here after they won in Algarve. Coy is here with Affini, Pedersen, all the same guys. No one's really been dropped or put under too much pressure. The furniture, though, Benji, the road furniture in this run-in was next level in the last 3Ks.
When he said furniture, I was thinking there's a random chair on the road, but no, traffic.
No, so Merlier, the other day in the interview before the stage, he was talking about, oh, I love Merlier's interviews. They said, hey, how's the stage? He's like, not bad, huh? Couple of wins, not bad. Oh, no, he's Russian.
Sorry.
Like,
As a West Flemish person, I feel bad about what you're doing, man. I'm offended.
No, I like Merlier because it's just that he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I'm here to win races. He was just like, yeah, like, I'm flying. I'm winning races. And I'm like, yeah, you are, Merlier. And he's like, the things in the road, there'll be a lot of them. Anyway, there was so much road furniture. I apologize. Does West Flanders have its own, like, regional monarchy, or is it?
Yeah, we are a monarchy.
West Flanders is a monarchy.
Yeah.
I believe. I'm not going to Google that. No one Google that. Pedersen, Benji, Kirsch has done an unbelievable job for him this week. And I think what we've seen is two things. The Lotto train has not been able to get it together at all. And this is their real train. This isn't Quickstep's best train. This isn't Jumbo or Trek's best train. The Lotto train can't get it together. And I also think, well, actually, Quickstep, Benji, they're trying to make it work with Van Leeuwenhoek, with, who else is here? Lampard, Cavagna, De Klerk. It's not been good either for Merlier, I would say.
Yeah, hasn't been amazing. Van Leeuwenhoek has been doing better leadouts this year than he did in the past for me, I would say. Not for me, but for the riders that he's leading out. But in my opinion, he's been doing better leadouts. But it's not consistent every single day, so that makes you wonder, is it the third rider that can't get Van Leeuwenhoek in that same position these days? Seneschal has been that role, if I recall correctly. He was seen every single sprint, but I didn't really see the lead out necessarily behind him every single time. Well, is Seneschal at this race or is it today? No, am I mixing it around again?
Seneschal's here.
Wait, you're right. I'm so confused. Anyway,
it might not be their fault. I think Merlier sometimes hangs out mid-pack and on some stages just doesn't move up.
I don't know.
Happened the other day. Seneschal tried to bring him forward. Anyway, the road furniture, if you were not in first few wheels, you are really going to struggle to win this sprint. And we see Coy in good position once again. Who was one of the Swifts attack? First, I thought it was Tarling. Then I thought it was Connor Swift. Was it Ben Swift attacking?
I have absolutely no clue who the Ineos rider was that attacked. I have in my notes Ineos pacing, Ineos attack.
It was a Swift. It was a Swifty tried to pull a Swift. I think it was Ben Swift.
I'm going to go with Connor.
That'll mean for sure it was Connor Swift. That gets brought back by Affini. Affini one-man army lead out today, but Coy's not on his wheel.
Yeah,
Coy has gone onto Pedersen's wheel, and then Affini brings back the Ineos guy that tried to finesse their attack, and then Pedersen goes early, Benji, and Pedersen's won sprints early. He likes to launch and make it a 20-second sprint sometimes.
Yep.
Coy's in the wheel. It looked a little uphill to me, or like a little bit draggy at one point. And the other day, Coy couldn't come out of his wheel and win. Today he could. Coy wins his biggest race to date by a decent margin on Pedersen this time. And an interesting, Merlier came late very fast for third. Trent in fourth, Benji. That's an interesting result to me. Cantor fifth, Coquard sixth, then Bennett, Merritt, Page, and Case Bowl rounding out the top 10. Coy just playing the probabilities. If you're in the right position enough times, you're going to win.
Yeah, and fucking finally, let's be honest about it. He's been knocking on this door for so much this year. Top fives everywhere in UAE Tour, in Tirreno and so forth, that he finally gets that victory. And to be honest, it was time that he took that victory. And hopefully for him, it's kind of like with Almeida that the flood doors opened. The flood doors? The floodgates. Floodgates? The floodgates opened.
Floodgate.
Yeah, the flood doors. It's like just regular doors. Anyway, what was I saying again?
I mean, Almeida, let's just settle down. I mean, they opened for Almeida and then they kind of closed again. There's the floodgate, the dam controller, the park, the government authority that controls the dam gates. They kind of shut them again. They're like, there ain't enough water. Almeida, no more wins.
He's us fault. He's the guy that
he
closed
makes
it.
no race nothing. He's injured. He has knee tendonitis, which actually really sucks. That's news as well. But no, I agree with what you're saying. He gets through. He won in Bologna, of course. This isn't his first World Tour win, but this is the big boys. This is Paris-Nice.
Yeah.
You know, Bennett, all the riders want to put a big Paris-Nice sprint on their Palmares. He's, as Benji said, he's had second, fourth, second, ninth, fourth, second, now wins. That's in 17 race days. He's had all those top 10s. Yeah, he reminds me of Philipsen a lot.
Okay.
He's aero,
Possibly.
he's in position, he is aggressive enough to fight off when someone's trying to steal the wheel he's got on. I'm talking Philipsen 2021. He really reminds me of him a lot, actually.
I do believe that when he fights against the top sprinters, because Pedersen a good sprinter, but Pedersen is that sprinter like a Van Aert is. He starts at the front and doesn't have that kick to pass anyone. He's just a rider that sprints from the front and hopes he can make it to the line before anyone passes him. That's Pedersen. Like Van Aert did at the Tour de France and got passed a few times, for example. That's the exact sprinter Pedersen is. And Cor is the kind of sprinter that is just on the brink of getting past those kind of riders to be able to win it. But if someone else is on the wheel, if an informed Jacobsen is on the wheel, a Philipsen or Jacobsen win.
Yeah. I think so. Cavendish, I still think is reasonably sharp. He just...
Klep Syriza.
Yeah, Syriza ain't getting it done. What next for Koi? So there's been a lot of talk in the media, maybe not the Anglophone media, but Dutch media a little bit about, his contract is up. He's not going to the Tour de France. He's not going to the Giro d'Italia. Listen, the Vuelta team ain't picked for anybody. We've spoken about it before, Benji. From what I've seen here, I really would send him to the Giro because he's gone to the Paris-Nice with Vingegaard. He can be used to mop up bonus seconds, whatever, later in the race. Affini's probably going to go to the Giro anyway because he's Italian and that's the rules. And Affini and Koi's pairing has been extremely successful. He's been on the right wheel every single sprint stage. Is there really that much of a downside sending him to the Giro? Like, will that really kill Roglic's GC that much?
I think Roglic will just be annoyed about it personally, that he doesn't have an entire team working for him. I would say when it comes to Olaf Koy, that we said last year he should go to the Giro last year. He would have won a Giro stage last year. I'm standing by my point. He could do so again if he's at the Giro.
Definitely.
I'm definitely standing at that point again. But he's supposedly not riding any Grand Tour. Maybe a Vuelta might arrive, but that didn't seem to be the case based on the announcements at the start of the year. I did hear like a rumor, like, I don't know if Marijn Zeeman said it at like the announcement of Jumbo-Visma, that Olaf Koy could ride the Tour de France next year, perhaps. I don't believe that.
24.
I don't believe. Yeah.
No.
Just doesn't happen. Like, if he stays at Jumbo-Visma, he's never riding the Tour as long as Van Aert is there, in my opinion. And if that's the case, then you got to think Olaf Koy needs to leave this team at the end of the season.
I think Giro makes a lot of sense. And look, go and watch the footage today.
Yeah.
Vingegaard had a shocker yesterday. He made mistakes, bad attack. His watts weren't as good as Gran Camino. Bad day yesterday. Deflation. Pogacar absolutely slapped Jumbo yesterday.
Yeah.
Watch the finish after this stage. Vingegaard looks almost happier than Koy. Because Vingegaard now, they won the TTT. They now win a road stage. The atmosphere's lifted up in the team at dinner tonight after the shitty day yesterday. And Vingegaard almost is like, okay, well, at least like we still won a stage and the pressure's off me a little bit. Spotlight's moved over to Olav. And so that's why I think, like, remember the Giro last year, Benji? Like, they sent Dumoulin for GC. That did not work. At least they won 2 stages. This team's too good. And listen, Roglic is different to Dumoulin. I'm not comparing those apples to apples. I'm just saying, are there 7 guys better than Olav Koy for their Giro team? And I don't...
Last year it wasn't, and this year there isn't. So he should have been at the Giro both years.
Yeah. But it all depends, I guess, on his fitness. I haven't seen him climbing. I don't know how versatile he is, because what you can't have, you cannot deploy team resources, and this is what Godu's point was. You cannot have team resources helping him make the time cut.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And that's why Godu was like, well, I don't want 4 guys helping Demar, not OTL in the Tour. I don't think he would, but anyway.
Only Affini. Once the
No,
mountain
Affini
starts.
should be. Yeah, I mean, Affini will be with Koi anyway, like in those stages. Yeah. But then Roglic will be like, I want Affini helping me not go to the 3 kilometer banner. So that's the tension.
That's on flat stages though.
But Roglic will want Affini to take him to 3Ks to go, and then Affini can't do a leader after that.
There's other riders that can do that, man.
Yeah.
No need.
I'm kind of coming around to Benji's way of thinking here. It wasn't before, but after this Paris-Nice, I'm like, he doesn't need to train this kid. Anyway,
and his
you know
positioning,
who I think looks really good?
His positioning has gotten better.
Yeah.
Because last year it wasn't perfect yet. Now he's in the position every single time. Anyway, continue.
I think Arnaud Demar's on for San Remo. I think he's going to win. Dude, Demar he made third on the 500 meter 12% climb behind Pog and Paulus. He's sprinting up 5Ks 4.5%. That little intermediate thing was, I know they didn't exactly launch it like the Poggio, but he's looking in really, really good shape. I would watch out for Demar on San Remo.
The thing is, he's won it in 2016, allegedly holding on to a car for one of the longest periods of times in cycling. But he ended up sprinting against Ben Zwift, Roelands, Bouhanni, Van Avermaet, Christoph, Hausler. That is not the kind of group that you have these days at the front in a race like this. You've seen him at the top of the Cipressa in second or third position 2-3 years ago, if I recall correctly.
He made the group last year after Cipressa.
But he's not going to win Sanremo. I don't see him getting over the top of the Poggio in the first group. Second group, yes.
And yeah, you're right. It's like Bini, Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert, Arnaud Delis. He's not looking like he's quick enough to beat these guys in a sprint at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah. Then again, positioning.
Yeah. He will enter Cipressa in good position. That's how he makes it over. Tomorrow's stage in Paris-Nice from Tours to La Course Loop, 197 Ks. It is, we're in Nice now, so it does look a little bit sunnier. They're north of Cannes in the hills. We have, I mean, this has got to be a break stage. They have 2Ks, 10% after a 5K, 6% step climb, descent, then uphill finish. What do you reckon?
I think someone will try.
Oh, he's not here.
Nah, I think someone will try something on that last climb. I know it's 30K from the finish line. Yeah. I want it. Come on. Pull out on a stage. Give it to me.
Where's the intermediate?
Beat Marie Blanc.
The intermediate's at the top of it too.
Yeah.
Maybe we will have a nice GC fight again. I mean, if you're UAE Benji, you know who could win this stage?
Pogacar.
He could indeed. Maybe even Trentin. They give him the lead out. I actually think Trentin could win this stage. I mean, they got Wellens. They got a lot of guys. I mean, if I'm UAE, I'd be aggressive tomorrow.
Do not overhype Trentin either now. He was in the sprint, yes. But did you listen to Caleb Ewan, who said there were multiple types of sprinters? Trentin is the type of sprinter that can follow, but can't go over other sprinters.
Yeah, it's a little uphill finish. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Maybe there's a breakaway that goes all the way, but UAE might be nervous about that 6-second lead that Pogacar now has on Gaudu. And we all know stage 8 of Paris-Nice is a very, very tricky one.
Poggy wins.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, I think it's a decent chance it happens. Anyway, that's all from us today. Bit of a longer one, but there's a few things to talk about. Tirreno was much, much better. And thanks to Zwift and yourself as always. We'll see you with the Friday stages tomorrow. Till then, ciao.